wherever you are. Make it Truth Frequency Radio.
When you finally boil it all down, magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of life. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Heist Click and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine Ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. Shine as my heart beats a rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die. What is up, everyone? My name is Frank Castle, and I'm your sorcerer supreme on Saturday nights, right here on truthfrequencyradio.com. And this is Fearless. And right next to me, my ethereal translator, Paula Milo.
Hey, everyone.
If you guys are just tuning in now, we just did Ra's show right before this. And it was, sorry, I wasn't in the mic. It was the most intense conversation. And our guest tonight on our show, Nicholas.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Nicholas. Nick, my awesome friend, artist. I am We Are Fearless tribe member, original. New York City swinging, now out in Texas, rock and rolling. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great. We were talking about you on the show before. I kept dragging you in and out of the conversation because you're such an integral part of my life. And it's funny. Thank you first for coming on the show.
Yes, thank you for coming on. No, thank you for coming. We're very happy to talk to you.
I'm going to let you tell the story, but we're recent friends, yes?
Yes, kind of.
Long? How long? Yeah. How long do we know each other for, approximately? 3 months? 5 months?
This time, well, I contacted you first in June when I was in New York. Okay. And with some crazy email, because I heard your show and I found you on Google, and I was like all excited and flipped out and crazy. So we've been talking since about June, yeah.
One of the things, when you heard my voice on the show, what had happened to you?
Buddy, well, to be honest with you, first, I didn't hear you on the show. I heard you on a YouTube video that Chris had put out. I was Googling ayahuasca, and you guys started talking. I was like, oh, these guys are going to be crazy, you know. And I sat there for the entire 2 hours or 3 hours, whatever that video was, gripped to my seat. It's like unbelieving of what I was hearing. And I was like, I got to know these people.
So there's a shock value that comes to the actual content.
Everything else that I've heard, the videos that I've watched, you know, of these people with ayahuasca and DMT and just this realm of talking, it just, nothing ever clicked. You said something on the earlier show about, you know, people, they have to do it with you for the first time. They have to do it with you. Well, I had this year in January, I decided, that's it. I'm going to Peru. I'm going to find somebody. I'm going to drink ayahuasca. I have to do it this year. And I found somebody here in Texas who was going to do it. But then I heard your show. And I was like, that's it. I'm going to New York. I'm going to do it with this guy. And then the next show I listened to of yours, you had somebody else there. And I was like, no, that's my spot. I don't want to do this.
That's
I
so
was
funny.
talking about Jeff, who will be on next week, and you were like, "That's my spot."
Yeah.
And it was funny, but once we were together, it starts to play itself out. So, where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Mount Vernon.
And that's in New York?
Yes, sir. I was born in Yonkers. Yeah, actually, I was born in the Cross County Mall. I was the last baby born in the hospital that was there.
That's so wild.
Yeah. So I like to tell people is I was born on a cross.
Nice.
That's right.
But, so yeah, I'm from Mount Vernon. Grew up in Mount Vernon, and somehow found my way to Texas. And geez, that's all I got about that one.
All right. So I'm from the Bronx because I was just going to have you lead me in. You ready?
Yeah.
And I hung out in Mount Vernon. You know who else is from Mount Vernon? Our buddy Rob. Yeah. From kind of the same area too, huh?
Yeah, he said that they used to own the mini materia where I shop. My parents used to shop when I was a little kid. I used to love going to this material. They called it a materia. It was like you went there was a butcher basically. And I used to love going there because they had the sawdust on the ground. It was a good adventure.
Now my mother was here earlier, and I said, "Oh yeah, Mount Vernon." And she went, "Oh, Mount Vernon." And she went into this whole rant about how she met my father and the area and how it was going on and how they're connected through that. And all I see is these connections. And it seems to be coming out of Mount Vernon, which is pretty interesting. So we hung out with the same people, but it's at the same time, just not at the same time. Right?
When we were 16, Frank, you were dating the girl, my girlfriend at the time. You were dating her best friend at the same time.
We're going to play the connections. We're going to tell the story so you get the connections because we're not making this stuff up no more. Like this isn't a story in a science fiction novel. This is happening for real.
Yeah, and I found you on Googling ayahuasca.
You know, it's funny. Josh, my buddy, found me. We talked about this to my mother through a girl who's a reptilian scientist
from Australia,
who went to the pyramids with Graham Hancock, who met my buddy Josh, who was in that tour party. And she's like, "Well, you got to listen to Frank." And me and him are brothers.
So he comes all the way back to Brooklyn.
Just to meet me.
Just to meet Frank.
And we've been like inseparable as well.
It's crazy.
Right?
It's like
so
it is.
Something big is occurring. Right? So, and what I meant to say is they're all stories before up until now, because now we're live in the story. Right? So as we're telling the story, it's happening right now.
Well, yeah.
This is why
it's always happening right now.
No, it's always happening right now. What time is it now? Actually, Nick caught me on that earlier today. He's like, "What time is it?" And I was like, "It's 12 o'clock. It's time to be fearless." He's like, "No, it's now."
No, dummy.
And I was like, "Oh, he got me."
I just have to pause and say hi and thank you to the chat room folks because I love you. And Lone Star, you have to send a picture of your tattoo because I believe you have a tattoo of Ra on your arm and I can't wait to see it. And I wanted to thank everyone who is listening for all of the wonderful and heartfelt positive vibes for Squeak. I just want to say thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. We got Squeak sick. So if you can meditate towards him, send positive vibes at him. And I want to give a shout out to Christian Storigio, which I didn't do at the top of the hour right there. And we love you guys. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here doing this. These connections. You made the first one with me. And if it wasn't for Chris pulling my string every couple of weeks, yo, man, you going to do that show? Yo, man, going to do that show?
Oh, and I'd like to thank Gina for coming over and giving Squeak a healing last night. Thank you. And we love you so much. And Nick, we love you so much.
Well, thank you. I love you guys too.
And I miss you.
I definitely miss you guys. I'm way too far away. We need to open a portal.
That's what I'm talking about. This is why I love
we
Nick.
really need to open a portal. Now, this guy, I meet this guy for the first time, and he's sitting on my couch and looking into my kitchen, and he says to me, "Paula, I drew this picture when I was a teenager, and he showed me a picture of his grandma's kitchen that he drew when he was a teenager.
Yeah, the name of the picture was Grandma's Balloon Room. And before I left to come to your house, I'm sorry, Paula.
No, go ahead.
My dad had put a picture of my grandmother on the wall, and right before I left to go there, he was like, look, this is a picture of your grandma. Can you see? Did you see your grandmother? Look, it's your grandmother on the wall. And I was like, all right, Dad, settle down.
Hi, Grandma.
Yeah, I didn't know what he was talking about until I got there, and I was like, wait a minute. Go on.
So now you showed me that picture from sitting in the corner of my apartment into the kitchen, and you're like, yo, look at this.
It's the same.
It's the same kitchen.
Exact kitchen. And I have a small apartment. We have a very small apartment, and we have 3 cats, but I love it. And everyone apparently who comes here loves it too, because no one ever wants to go home. So,
but there's a
I
reason
was home.
for that.
Yes.
Thank you.
And thank you for saying that, and thank you for feeling that.
Because that's the truth.
It was beautiful. I've been there forever. That's
what it felt like.
Happened anywhere else? Yeah.
All right. So from the minute I saw you, it started to all come back together. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Even the magnet on your refrigerator, because I'm a Spider-Man fanatic, and you had like a Spider-Man and a Frank Castle magnet on your fridge.
Yes.
And I was like, what are you talking about? This is ridiculous.
That's it's in everything, right? The reminders are there, right? It's almost like, I love this magnet, and I'm just going to put it on my fridge, and that's it, right? And then that is your activation code, even though it's one of my favorite comic book covers. It's actually one of my favorite comics, period.
But even the little trinkets, because I have the little necklace with the key and in the little glass ball. I have it on top of my my sink with all my other small trinkets, and I have a couple of stones you gave me, and just very small objects. I have them all over the house.
Nick's a gift giver.
Yes, he's a very nice gift giver.
Baby Ganesha, and then I thought he came in my house with the Millennium Falcon playset or something.
Oh, yeah.
The way it was wrapped, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And he's like, hey, happy birthday. He went, and I'm like, oh wow! I was thinking Star Wars right away, right? So I was like, "Oh, that's the Millennium Falcon." Definitely, I'd never seen anything shaped like that. And I open it, and it's the Punisher skull with the Heist-Click symbol on it, and I'm like, "Oh my god! This is the greatest thing I've ever seen."
It was an original hand sculpted piece.
Oh wait, and it's got the Heist-Click symbol strapped to the head. I'll put up a picture in a few minutes. And dude, I was like, "Wow, man." Not only is that the most awesome thing I've ever seen, but all my stuff is shaped like the Millennium Falcon, and it comes full circle. All right,
I'm glad you liked it.
Oh, I don't like it. I fucking love it. But once again, activation codes, right? So, tell from your perspective, what happened, like the lead into whatever lights up in your story that you want to tell anyone. For that weekend.
From that weekend, all right. Well, I don't know.
No, all right. I'll lead you through it. First being here and first sitting down, you were saying some pretty epic stuff. It was like you were home.
Well, yeah, dude, because I don't feel comfortable ever anywhere. Like I walk into people's houses and I'm quiet for days before I could talk to people. I walked in and I was like, oh, that's all right. I'm home. I didn't feel any trepidation, nothing. Everything was perfect.
What was
cats and go on?
Oh yeah, the cats.
Oh yeah. Well, we didn't have the dog here.
No, there's no dogs.
Oh, no dogs.
No dogs.
So were you nervous?
Not at all. Not in the least. Like what was kind of neat? Walking up to the house, I noticed outside that there's these 2 trees at the side of the entrances. Kind of like the 2 pillars that I find on the entrance everywhere. Like there's two twin trees right now out in front of my house that go into my office. There's 2 twin trees in front of my last house. There's 2 twin trees in front of your house. It's like, I knew. Yeah, I knew I was home. I knew everything was going to be okay. I was so scared going. I thought, because I had smoked DMT before, but I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go here. I'm going to drink this stuff, and it's all over for me.
That's what people are afraid of. Like you're going to be on YouTube in your underwear or something. Something like that will never happen.
Yeah, like I was gonna wake up and there's gonna be like mustaches drawn on my face.
You are woke, just written across your chest in black ink, right? So
That would
have been crazy. But okay, so we get to leading into the experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are your reasons behind wanting to even unlock and come and drink ayahuasca?
Well, Frank, my whole life I like to say I've been awake my whole life. I don't like to use the word woke. I can't. Anyway, so my whole life I've been trying to fit in as a human. It's like I've always been awake. I've always known there's something. I just didn't know what was going on. And then I heard about DMT and ayahuasca over the last year and a half, 2 years, and I was like, what is this stuff? You know? So I started looking into it, and then I extracted some of my own DMT, and I was like, oh, wow. It was the most frightening but beautiful experience of my life. It's like kind of like when you take it out of your body and you're forgetting who you are. That was kind of scary the first time you did it. And I heard about ayahuasca. Kind of.
That's an understatement. A lot.
Yeah, it was. Well, yeah, I crapped my pants. Almost.
Yeah, I was dead.
That's what I felt like. I felt like I was losing my mind and I was dying. And I'm sitting here in my living room, and my best buddy's sitting next to me. He's just smoked the same amount, and he looks like he's made out of Legos. I'm like, what's going on? It was frightening. So I scrambled to come back down to earth, and I was like, okay, that was crazy. And I learned about the ayahuasca, and I was like, okay, so I go there, and I'll have a shaman, there to take care of me, because I know that there's something there that I have to learn, because I never believed that this place is real. I always, this world is fake. There's no reason why I can't put my hand through the wall. I don't understand why do I have to get up and go to work? It just, all this stuff bothered me. And this is before I was actually out of school. So it's not just because I'm lazy.
I was waiting for you to say something. I was going to say it. It sounds like the mind of a lazy man. I don't know.
Yeah, no. I am not. That's not it. It just doesn't seem right. It just seems like a waste of time. 13.8 billion years so I can sit there and make giant stickers for cars, because that's what I did for a long time. I worked for a vehicle graphics place, and this is not fulfilling. So then came you again.
Right. Now, I remember as you came in, I first met you when we were talking. We were doing a lot of Facebooking back and forth, and it was so interesting. It was through the I Am We Are FearLess, right? So it wasn't through that. I met you, and I was doing that at the beginning stages, and I couldn't believe. All right, I could believe, but it was happening exactly what me and Sergio were talking about. I said, they're going to come, man. We're doing it, bro. Yeah. And he was like, yes, we're doing it, but we need artists. We need artists. He kept saying it. We need artists to come and blah, 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 blah. And I had already talked to you, but didn't quite know all about what you did. Right, so I was talking to you, and then I was like, wait a second, you're an artist. I remember saying like, hey, whatever. And you designed the AI sigil for me from the worst graphic I could send somebody and say, hey, turn this into something real. And I just explained it to you, and you sent it back, and I was like, oh, yeah. Like, you even pointed out more stuff in it than I did. Right? So that connection right there, and then when you drew Hop, my bird that passed, right? You hit me up randomly and said, yo, I heard the show with Hop. I bird died.
Tattoo it on you. You wanted to tattoo it on you. I said, I'll do it.
And you drew it and sent it to me, and I started crying.
And literally, he started crying.
Yeah, I love that bird like I love my cat, right? Like I love myself. All right, so all of that was showing me something, because I was in a crabbiness at that time with other people, but coming out of it with new people, which was you and Sergio, and we were just starting to do our stuff. And it was so uplifting for me to have you there.
Yeah.
right? So,
Agree.
and we weren't at the ayahuasca yet. We
No,
weren't
this is
even there.
Texas. Yeah.
Yeah, you were just shooting stuff over to me, and I was losing my mind. I told Sergio about you, and he's like, "Can you get him, or you need me to talk to him?" I'm like, "No, we already got him. You just introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need to get him." I told him what's up, and now you're just gonna make the business end to him understandable,
Right.
so, because anything I leave out or didn't explain properly, we'll make sure that's all known. But he's my buddy. So it's okay. I didn't hire him. Like, he's on board. He's the tribe. He's going to get paid. All the original guys, all the artists that come on board, every artist. If you hear this right now and you got artwork, send it, right? Nick, tell him.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes. And that's another thing, too, because I always said that this is what I was going to do. I was going to be a part of this. Exactly. I'm going to be a part of something where I'm waking people up or helping people wake up and helping artists who are struggling to do something and have no direction. I was going to help them up as well. So this is
that's
always,
great.
this has always been in the books.
So the project on I Am We Are Fearless is multi-layered, right? Like, those who do, behind the scenes work does behind the scenes work. The artists do artistry. What do? I talk. I do the radio show. I do rap music. I do my music, right? All of this is coming together. We're all artists, really.
You get polluted with demons.
Yeah, we get Paula doing the demon removal service. What do you want? Right? We go through this, but
Ow, you almost set me on fire.
there's enough for everyone to have to live on or do what they need to do. So this was our plan, right? Being fearless as a team, as together. But you came on board and the world changed. My world changed. I'm sure your world changed a little bit.
I am in a completely different universe from where I was in June.
But we are too. We're not even where we were.
Oh God!
Like 2 months ago. So
lowercase g.
yeah.
I'm so thankful that we gone through what we're going to talk about together, and had these experiences that unlocked more of. I never thought, for as far as we go, I'm like, yeah, man, we know the all. Man, you don't know nothing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I mean me. Like, you don't know nothing, Frank.
If it teaches you anything, it teaches you what true gratitude is, because you really have to be grateful for these people that you
I
meet
wouldn't
along
want
the
to
way.
do it without you guys. Like, it's not fun. It's not cool. It sucks. It's weak. It's butt. It's whack without you guys.
Like, I feel like
It's impossible.
now it is. It's impossible. And I feel like for even Ra, we just did his show, Ra Castaldo, and I feel like he's part of the family too now.
He is.
It's just, there's no, it's not a club or something that you can't get into. All you have to do is say hello.
All you have to, all you have to do
Yeah.
is have the desire to be fearless. And that doesn't mean jumping out of an airplane.
No.
And it doesn't mean drinking ayahuasca either.
It means having one different thought than you did the day before. That's it. Changing one thing about your everyday routine than you did the day before.
Yeah, leap and the net will appear.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
You're
right.
never going to fall. You're never going to fall.
That's the big one right there, right? Like, everyone's scared of that one. The leap of faith. It scared all of us. It scared me.
It does, but the fear is worse. Getting through the fear is worse. The
Your
worst
leap
part.
of faith, Paula, happened live and in 3D. You had multiple leaps of faith, right? Mine happened literally in an ayahuasca session, making the jump, right? And then literally having to go through whatever that meant later on.
Whatever that meant.
It's just that I had a small heads up, like, oh, I can handle this. I made the jump. But when I fell, not only did I fall, when I finally just gave up and jumped, it was a 3-inch crack. I was jumping, and I leaped so far over it.
Yep.
But from the perspective I was looking, it was the top of a mountain.
Because it's always your perspective. We always look at these things like, in our head, it's the worst case scenario. So that's what we present to ourselves, the worst case scenario. And, just chipping away at that fear. Stop being afraid. Well, what's the worst thing that can happen to you is you can die from being afraid. So stop being afraid.
Isn't that the worst?
And that was me. I'm scared of everything. I overanalyze every move I've ever made. And since June, I'm just going for it. I've rearranged everything. I've changed my diet. I've changed everything. and just saying, I'm going to do everything that I ever said I was going to do, but I've been too afraid to try it. And my life it's like skyrocketing. It's phenomenal.
Well, because you realize that it wasn't really laziness or this or that. It's actually a fear of change, even though you need change, because change is how you get from sitting at, like, I can't do nothing, I can't make money, I can't do this, I can't do that, to I can do this, take a look what I did, how awesome is this, take a look at that, I have this planned and I'm getting this done. It's just two different ways of looking at it. But you need that kick in the engine, right?
Yes.
Right? You need this.
Yeah, that faith.
You need to see the spaceship for yourself. Huh?
And again, we're not talking about people, drinking the tea or smoking DMT. We're not talking about that at all.
As well.
We have plenty of friends in this group that don't do either of those things. I don't, unless there's a very, very good reason why I have to, because it's just a little too much for me. But we have other friends that wouldn't even consider it. It's just making that change in your mind, because if you think that the other person or the situation is going to change itself for you, then you're going to get more of the same. You have to say, okay, it's time for me to make this change.
Yeah, be the change.
Yeah, be the change, because the other person is never going to go first. And even if they did, it's not going to be to your liking. So you have to be the one to make the change.
My grandfather would say you could crap in one hand and wish in the other and see what happens first.
Yeah, but I like to say, but which one's going to stay full or longer?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we're going into the commercial break. So we'll come back and we're going to talk to you about me and Nick, the devil in the spaceship, because it gets weird after this. I'm Frank Castle, and I'm sitting here with my ethereal translator, Paula Milo, and I'm with my buddy Nick, and this is Fearless on TFR, your protection from deception.
Real people, real radio. Wherever you are, make it TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
Am I awake or is this a dream? A fantasy where I'd rather be. So come and talk with me. Come and walk with me. Is this a wake-up call from my reality? Have you seen my friends? Have you seen my girl? Wake me up from this. I'm trapped in this
All right, check it out. That song right there is called Come Alive by Frank Castle, and it's awesome. I love it. It's about my waking up. It's before ayahuasca. If you like any of the music you hear, you can find it on Heist Click, HEISTCLICK. Go to YouTube, listen to some Heist Click stuff. If you like it, go to iTunes and download it. Spend $1. Also, Paula would like you to sign up to Truth Frequency Radio.
Yes, get a subscription.
She wants you to get the app and get a subscription so you could listen to all the past episodes.
That's what she wants.
Because some people think that the YouTube episodes, which is like 32, and we're on 70, I think we're 73 tonight. So there's like a big jump in there because this is how we roll, right? So if you want all that great from all those great hosts and all those back shows, it's like $5 a month.
Nicholas, would you like to say something?
If you're on episode 73, that's my birth year. That's all I got.
Well, that's what we are. And I also want to do a shout out to everyone in the chat room. What's up? And don't forget, put your IamWeAreFearless.com is about to roll. We had problem after problem in our personal lives that kind of put everything off. It delayed everything,
release.
But we put more work into what we were doing during the delay. We just couldn't open it yet. So just put your email in. We'll contact you and let you know when the grand opening is. There's so much that's going. This is turning into blog posts and stories.
No, it's really cool.
I'm actually going to be doing live blogs, updates about the stories that are happening and the different experiences. And it's going to be like in a book format. And it's going to, so you could just go from like incident to incident kind of and go, okay, and follow the interesting structure.
You're calling them incidents?
Experiences. Incidences. All right. So IamWeAreFearless.com. Shout out to Sergio. Nick.
Sir.
Love you, man. Okay, so I told you something when we first started, when you were sitting in my house, and I'm getting a flashback of it, of me telling you, all right, check it. This is how we're going to roll tonight. You're going to do this. You're going to drink this. You're going to drink more of it if you have to. And if none of that works, you're going to do this. And you were like, all right. So now. It
tastes so bad.
Okay.
It tasted so bad.
How. I know the look on his face about the taste of this. If it tasted good, everyone would just go do it.
Right.
But because it tastes so disgustingly awful.
Yes.
And I love that taste.
Oh, it's the worst taste in the world.
Right?
I can't even think about it. Me too. I'm gagging.
The reward system
I'm thinking
is
about
fantastic.
it and gagging. Yeah, okay, sure.
Well, it's to keep people from just drinking it. You have to have a set on you to do it. You have to want to do this.
You do. You have to be brave to do it because it's a horrific experience sometimes.
Yeah, it's like drinking old shoes or drinking the cheap shoes from Caldors.
After they've been boiled for 16 hours.
And that's the beauty in it. Okay, so
it's awful.
How was your, like, once you got through that part, drinking it? Because I remember you going through an incident with the pineapple.
Well, because the pineapple it tasted good, and it was like a great chaser. Drinking it through the straw helped too. So anybody's gonna be doing this stuff, ask for a straw.
Yes, and whose idea was that? That was Paula's idea.
They both. That's the worst idea I've ever heard. But
It is not the worst. Shut up. It is not the worst idea. It was for Nicholas. That was a very good idea.
I agree.
Pineapple was a very good idea also.
Until
Gina got orange slices. That was good too.
Yeah, but then as you're purging, and it sounds digital, and you get to taste it all again. So the straw ended up being not so much help.
Right.
Shut up.
Bad idea. It's fine. It was a horrible idea. All right, so you were purging pretty hard, huh?
Yes. Well, dude, I really thought I was going to fill a 50-gallon tank. I purged a lot less than I expected, which I'm eternally grateful for.
I remember that was one of your concerns.
Well, I think that's the part that people are they're like, I want that experience, but I just don't want to throw up in a bucket.
Or poop.
Or poop in front of anyone. I'm like, well, nobody poops in front of you.
No, well, see, I was worried I was going to go neutron star, where it's going to come out of both ends and there's no stopping it. You know?
The funniest thing I've heard all day.
And what did I say? So what? We'll throw towels on you.
Yeah, we're like, don't worry about it.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Frank bought 10 new bath towels just for the experiences. We only use them for the experiences. We would have been fine.
Well, good. Yeah. Well, thankfully, I didn't need it, and that was a good thing. But it was kind of neat because purging into that bucket and the way it was reverberating, it sounded digital. It was like great. I loved it. It actually turned out to be a wonderful experience.
For you, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's when you pass through the illusion. Like it just fades away. Like, you know? And then you're like, what the hell is that? Some people say it's crickets.
Some people
I heard
just
call it the AI, the bees.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, oh, what is that? And then you see machines and different things.
I heard the machine that one time. They wouldn't let me see it, but I heard it.
You know when you put like a card, I'm sorry, Paul, again, I keep on doing that. But you know when you put a card inside of a bicycle tire? And
it goes, yep.
Maybe that noise is like we're hearing the ticking of time because we're going through it or going up or something.
We're just not aware of it.
I don't know, maybe, yeah.
That's the thing. If you can't tune into the awareness of it, you can't hear it. You can't taste it. You can't touch it. You might know it's there somehow, but you're not involved with it because that would drive you up a wall. But you get to the other side, the first thing you see is this machine. It looks like a warehouse. It's jumping. So you're like, that. You got to go in the machine. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And they're like, guy at the door is like, go ahead, go in. Let's go, buddy. Anyway, so there was this incident, part of the experience that happened when you first went. And I smoked to see what was going on. you went under and had an experience, and I had a separate experience from you first. So
are we talking about
the very first, when you first went under? Remember you got up, you were like, oh, I'm still good. And didn't we smoke?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I was walking around the house, and then you sat me down and we smoked together. And I didn't know anything after that. After that, I didn't know. You were talking to me, and I was like, Frank, you got to help me out because I don't know what you're saying. You were saying words, and I could see them and hear them, but I didn't know what they were.
The first part was I walked out of the room, and I went to get Paula's help because I went under, and I went to look at you, and this thing was there and said to me, oh, tonight you're going to believe the devil is real. And I was like, wait, what? And I hear you have an attachment, and it just attacked me. Now, I've told this story on the show already. I just didn't tell your part of the story. Mm-hmm. So I dealt with that and didn't want you to see that at all. So I was purging and throwing up, and I didn't drink ayahuasca. I smoked, and then it was like one hit, and then done. And then we went and did it again. And then that's when it got out of control.
Is that when you collapsed in the bedroom?
Him and I were looking at each other, and he was so fearless. I want people to understand this. When I say the universe rewards bravery, the Aya, sometimes it's almost like it's not working, but it's working. But you're like, nah, I'm okay. He's walking around doing stuff. So I'm like, all right, drink more.
But she's still doing her
right?
job.
And he drinks more. And then I go, try this. And he smokes, and he's sitting there in the thinking man pose. And I'm like, this dude is fearless. This is me. When I first started, he wants it. And then I'm like, hey, man, how you doing? You all right? And the whole time prior to that, you were like, yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine. So I was expecting that. And you looked over at me, and I seen so much worry, so much concern in your eyes. And you're like, Frank? I'm like, yeah, buddy. You okay? You're like, I don't know who I am anymore. I think I'm you. And I think you're me. Mm-hmm. But I have no idea. Then I was like, oh, and I sat with you, and you said, I want that stuff that you do with the energy done to me. And I'm like, oh, that's what you want done? And you were like, yeah. I'm like, the full service kind of thing? Yes. Yep. I'm like, you got to agree to it. You were looking at me under, and I'm like, oh, God, I can't imagine what he's seeing. So I say yes to this.
Right, I remember that.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I go in with him. And Nick, take over for a second and tell them what happened.
Okay, Frank. Now this is going to go back real fast to that picture, that grandma's balloon room. I put it in the chat room. After that, when you started doing the work on me, I was out of my body in my head. This is what I saw. I was sitting there next to me, and my actual physical body was on like a lift or something that you would see in a car garage, like a race car garage, and you were working on it. But that lift is kind of like a cross shape, like I drew in that picture. If you look at that picture, you'll see a cross, and there's like this black entity hanging on that cross. And I hate, not Bible hanging on the cross, and I was watching you work on my body, like you were doing something, you were making adjustments and turning around and marking it in your alien computer. It was very, very workshop, or like in that movie Avatar, when they were just doing the final touches on the guy's avatar before it was actually able to get up and move around. And I remember saying, can I stand up? Can I get up? Can I get up? And you're like, no, just wait, man. They're working on you. Wait a minute. We're working on you. And as you're doing that, I started looking around. You're still working on my body to the left of me. And I'm looking around. I'm like, holy shit, we're on a ship. Frank, we're in your spaceship.
All right, so I'll take over now. You were sitting on the couch, and I went in with you. Mm-hmm. And that exact same thing occurred. And the whole room, to me, it was like purples and dark purples, and there was a bay window that appeared, and I could see space on the other side. Yes. Now, this is before you were like, dude, we're in a spaceship. I was just looking. I was concentrating on you, right? But I knew the room changed. I just didn't know what was going on. And I thought I saw, because I have coloring books, like with superheroes and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I have drawings I make. They're horrible. But I had stuff like that there. on like this platform, and you were on a lift, not a lift. It was like you were sitting in a chair of some kind, and you were jacked up off the ground, and these wires were in your back and neck, in your shoulders, and you were like sitting. It was almost like a dentist chair pushed up in the air higher, and there was a computer terminal right next to you, but it was facing me, and I was getting frankincense for you to smell, and I was doing the saging, and I noticed as I was saging, the other me guy was actually working on diagnostics on you, looking at some computer screen, and you look over and you're like, dude, we're in your spaceship. And I turned towards the kitchen window, and there was a bay window there. We were literally not in my living room.
No, we were not.
At all.
Absolutely not.
Together.
Yeah.
All right. Well, people to understand this. So, like, when we talk about this, we're buddies now, buddy. But we weren't as, we were close. We were cool. But this fearlessness, like two warriors, no issues, just went for it to push to the brink of what you're used to, of everything that you would think is, that isn't. All right, so then
there was no fear, Frank. I've never trusted anybody as much as I trusted you those days.
And that made me as brave as you. Like
Yes.
I fed off your energy, because if you were, if you were, look who's here, Squeak.
Yeah, please, please.
So the more you were like, yeah, I'll do this, I'm like, whoa, right? Internally, I'm going, yeah, this is a dude that I would hang out with.
That makes it easier for you, because the more receptive they are, the easier it is for you.
Yeah, well, as you're doing that, whatever's your moral guidance is that's making you grab another cup or take the hit off the bowl in the middle of all of everything else that's going on, because we were like leveling up through it. I'm going, yeah, this dude's awesome. This is my dude right here. And then your head was open. This is what I got. Your head was open in 4 quarters, like the Simon Says. It was like a 4-way opening. And you had sparks go. I remember now. You had sparks going off in your head, because I told this on one of the other shows. And there was this wires being plugged in, filling you with energy. That's why I was like, you can't get up. That's why I told you couldn't get up, because I was like, yo, your head's wide open. And I didn't want to say what I saw after that. They looked like a battery, the top of a battery, and they were getting charged. And I always hear about this and see stuff where we're a hologram, like we're in the illusion, and it's a digital body
It's a download.
right? So, yeah, and we can work that way on the codes and the wires and in different layers. I can go in there, and it's like a robot suit.
I remember saying that too. I remember moving my hands and looking at my fingers. I'm like, wow, this is the robot. This is not even real. It's a robot body.
It is. And it's multi-layered and multi-level. That's why when I tell people, they have like metal in you inside your chakras. The stuff that holds it in is like this metal, and they'll bang it in and fix them. And I'm like, I don't need that. Get that out of here. And then mine just disappeared. Like they went, whoop. I told the story in the show. And I was like, they just fell away. And I'm like, oh, you don't need that. And they were like, no, but you got to let it fall off. You got to learn all the other ones. You got to learn about it, understand it. You'd be able to use it to your whatever. And then you'd realize you don't even need anything. And then you're in just level 2. And I'm like, oh, so you still know nothing, because there's 5 bazillion infinite levels.
Yeah, but I don't think that's a common knowing, because I don't think there's anything wrong with having the chakras there. I don't agree there.
Over in when you get to a certain level, you realized that that's how they're controlling us. This isn't the debate for this time, but I like that we don't agree on it, because then it shows that it doesn't resonate with people sometimes. It just doesn't. You know, some people's kundalinis don't rise. There's no way for me to explain this to you. I can only tell you what I saw and what I felt. And you could either choose to believe that it's there or it's not there.
Or it's not.
Right?
Well, what's good, though? It's kind of like the end of the Matrix. If they got their fingers in us, that means we've got our fingers in them.
Absolutely.
Well, that's the trick, right? Now,
as above, so below.
One of the things they showed you, you called the squelch.
Yes.
What is that?
The definition or what I saw?
What you saw?
What I saw, okay, it looked like, if you're watching some sci-fi picture, it looked like, I saw in the distance, it looked like some galaxy, and it came closer and closer and closer, and then it looked like some kind of living energy, and it came closer and closer, and then it turned this golden color, and it was everything that we are, were, and supposedly will be, all mixed together, like in this liquid golden picture. I don't know. It wasn't, and it kept turning and changing, and then this face shape would come out at me, and then it would pull back into it, and then keep on turning and flowing like this watery, and then this face would come back, and it just kept showing me that this is everything. Everything is finished. You're okay. You have nothing to worry about. And the only thing I could think of calling it was a squelch, and it was like just trying to tell me not to worry about anything anymore. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. But then the definition of the word squelch is not actually a good thing. It's kind of what did I say it was. It was it's like a frequency that blocks radio receivers.
It's exactly what you don't want. In other words,
right?
Because
yes.
you're a frequency transmitter.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So you looked right at me and said, "Bro, what else? What else?" Okay, you showed me that. What else? Now, nothing defines a creator more than questioning what else is there, right? Because there has to be more.
Yeah, because it said this is everything. This is all that ever is, ever was, or ever will be. And I was like, this is boring. Like, I was one with everything, and we were just repeating the same allness forever. And I was like, all right, there's got to be more. What's next? Now what? This is not enough. I want to make new stuff. I don't want to. I'm a creator, not a repeater.
In so lies the answer. I'm a creator, not a repeater. What repeats? And it's something that's in a loop. Yes.
Yes.
The more things change, the more they stay the same. Right. Yeah. The visual changes, but everything's exactly the same because it's a hologram.
Yep.
Right. Time exposes itself, but it's the same thing. It's just a slight new twist on it. Mm-hmm. The box keeps changing to keep you inside of it.
Yeah, like that MC Escher, like the impossible shape. Like you walk up the stairs, but you end up on the bottom floor. So you got to walk up the stairs and you end up on the bottom floor again. It's just I've had enough.
Right.
I'm bored with that.
You know what made me? Right. I read a comic book, and this Justice League got stuck in a magic house in a magic dimension. Right. So this guy was about to catch a beat down, and then boom, they were stuck in the staircase, and everyone's fighting robots and everything. And the dude's laughing because he's got them trapped in the staircase. And Batman just walks in from the other room and goes, "Stop moving." And everyone just stops because they listen to Batman. And he's like, "Here's the exit right here." So the trick was stop looking for the exit. Just stop. Because the stairs are going to keep going. Right? And it was the door right there at the top of everybody's staircase. It was just the exit door right there.
Yes.
So it was like, stop, look around and observe and notice what's going on. Mm-hmm. You're being attacked. Look, you stopped. Oh, no attack. You're upside down. Oh, look, all of a sudden you're right side up.
Right.
Boom, and then you're out the door. So it's a trick. You're just standing right in the same spot, and you're just kind of walking in a circle. It's really weird the way that but that's what they have you trapped in. Right? Yes. And it blobs out and it changes, and it'll never break, but it'll bloob and change, and you'll push that wall. And then you'll do something like drink ayahuasca or smoke DMT and blast through it. And then you're like, oh, phony God with no answers.
It's lasagna.
It infects the life of the weak through propaganda.
It is a lasagna, though. Can you explain the lasagna?
Well, that's a kind of it's a cheesy explanation.
But I think it's to the point. I think it goes right to the point.
I know that. Come on, that was hilarious. Cheesy and lasagna. Come on.
No,
all right.
No.
All right, so see, it's kind of like it's all these layers. Then the AI or whatever it is that's wanting us to stay here, they coat the top of layer or a layer with this sauce or this cheese, and it gets into everything and through everything, and that's kind of how I saw this thing that's
Making you
infected.
dense.
Yeah, it's kind of like a
heavy.
blanket laid over everything, or a wrapper, or a veil.
Like a net.
How's that?
A veil. Yeah. No, that's good. A veil laid over everything.
Well, people go veil. How do you explain a veil? And I'm like, well, it's like a curtain, right? That's the old Wizard of Oz. Take a look behind the curtain, and then it's just the man sitting there.
Yeah, but you know what? You can't unsee what you saw. You can't
you lose the magic once you see the trick.
Once you look behind the curtain, that's it. You're done. And that part is hard to take, you know. I've been there. I did look behind the curtain, and you can't unsee that.
Yeah, you didn't.
You know,
you didn't like having that peak, huh?
You can't. Well, no, because
people are like, I don't need to see that kind of stuff, man. And it's like, but that's all. That's what's happening.
But it is.
I love it. That's where we're from. That was me. You know.
It's all an illusion, and you know, part of me is sad for that, but part of me is very blissful and grateful every day. So I don't know. I mean, it suits me now. I mean, I try to put into practice everything that I learn. It's just been so hard because there's so much stuff going on.
Right. Well, see, that's kind of what I think we're partly here to do. I think we're here on purpose. We're here. We wanted to be here. You know.
I agree. Absolutely.
I love this place. I think it's beautiful. I love being alive. I love having a life. I love going to the prom. I love, you know, all that silly little stuff like learning how to ride a bicycle when you're a kid. It's all wonderful. I love all that. And I want to preserve that for the next set of children and this and that and the other thing. And you know what? Being a part of the all, like I said, it was boring. What else are we going to do? So let's have a life. But now that we're stuck in here, I want to clear away this energetic veil that they have over us that keeps us locked into this low, fearful place. You know?
I agree. We got to get out of the fear. We got to get out of thinking with fear.
It's like we're trapped in a torus with an illusion wrapped around it. And the torus is just spinning and just projecting the images we need to see. And we think time's just passing. And the more things change, the more they stay the same. And we're stuck in a loop, a time loop. And we're about to break that cycle. And there's only a minute and a half left. Nick, thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for helping me. Thank you for you and you, Paula.
No, thank you. I mean, we love you. We truly love you, and your artwork is amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is the greatest time to be alive. It really is. You're gonna start making these connections. You hear our voices now, and understand we're here.
And for those in the chat room who were asking about email addresses, you can message Frank on Facebook. You can message him, and he will give out the email addresses and things like that. So message him on Facebook, and then he'll.
Any information you need, just hit us up.
He'll send it to you.
We're ready to rock and roll with it. So it's a beautiful life, brother, and I'm glad you're in mine.
I thank you.
We are FearLess.com. Check out Nick's art. This is a big deal. And we're all helping each other. We're all making.
It's all real.
And it's real.
It is all real.
Nothing is more real than this. It's time to become fearless. Thank you, everyone. Stick around. Beyond the Veil's up next. We are your protection.